Please help me welcome Miss Olivia Bernabe. Hi, Olive.
Hi, hello, everybody. Again, my apologies. I really don't understand what happened, but I'm glad that I was able to log in. Let me just put my headphones and be sharing the slides. Please welcome everybody. Congratulations on your desire to learn and grow by of course attending our optimals. Always get a kick out of our books, our recommended books actually. And when this came out, this title, "You're a Badass," asking me if it's something vulgar, or should we have that book. We really are not the type of people who use the word badass. Okay, so but we're going to learn what that means and why this has become a New York Times best. It's Jovi. We don't use the word badass, okay? But there, here you go. The author is quite a different kind of lady. She's a best-selling author and a success coach who has helped countless people transform their personal and professional lives. And this is a refreshing, entertaining, how-to kind of guide. This best-selling author, her name is Jem Sincero, helps you identify self-sabotaging beliefs and behaviors and create a life that you can totally love. So I kind of, next page. Wanting to be someone else is the waste of the person you are. Kurt Cobain said it. We all seem to want to be someone else, don't we? We're just like never satisfied with ourselves. Every time there's something bigger, better, greener, you know, we want to be there. So let's kind of look at what I looked up the word badass, okay? And it actually means a person who, well, that's the ego. We're not going to ego yet. A person who's very tough, confident, something like that. In fact, I was watching the news and I was watching about the Ukrainian war. And this Ukrainian soldier was being, you know, they're being bombed every day. The war is so real. People are dying on both sides every day. I was just in Russia and I know that because I talked to the Russians there and they have friends in Ukraine. And they were interviewing this Ukrainian soldier. And he was describing about how he was fighting the Russians, what does he do, and that he's ready to die, he's not afraid to die. And then he said the words, "I'm a badass," with the Ukrainian accent. So in a way, badass for me is someone who's tough and brave and confident and willing to die. So that for me was the definition. Next page. But here are the things that came out from the book. Ego. Ego is a person's self-esteem or self-importance. Now, we all know we have an ego, but not, we have a good kind of ego, and we also have a bad kind of ego. Now, Jen describes this as a false self. The bad ego, she says, is essentially being an asshole. We all know what an asshole is. She has all these words in the book that we don't usually use in our community. We don't use the word asshole or badass. It really only acts to sabotage our lives, our happiness, when the ego gets out of place. The ego limits your beliefs. It's the reason we don't step out of our comfort zone. It constantly holds you back and restricts you from doing things because you've got an ego. Like, for example, you don't want to get rejected. So you don't want to step out into the unknown. What's stopping you from doing that? It's your ego. You want to protect it. It's very fragile. Next page. The author calls the ego the big snooze. It will do everything it can to stop you from changing and growing, since you're attempting to obliterate the come to know as you. So what is she saying? She's saying that we've got sometimes this picture that people know of us. And sometimes when we put our ego in the pocket, our ego stops us from changing that image that people has. We want to maintain that image because we're always concerned about what other people are saying. Next page. She talks about being a badass, and we kind of defined earlier what does badass mean. Like the Ukrainian soldier with his chest puffed up and I'm a badass. But even if you're not a soldier, even if you're just a woman and a housewife or whatever, we can be a badass. So prioritize the concept of loving yourself. That's what she says. How can you be unhappy when you truly love yourself? So here are the ways to start appreciating yourself or loving yourself. Number one, she talks about this. Actually, when you read a book, there's a lot of small and detailed information. Appreciate how special you are. Number two, drown yourself in affirmations. Affirmations is when you look at the man in the mirror, yourself. What do you tell yourself? You've got to drown yourself with positive affirmations. Do things you love, because you'll just pat yourself in the back and you'll be happy. Unlike when you try to force yourself to do things you don't like, you just feel miserable. I remember when I was employed working in a job and I was miserable. I had to drag my feet every day to go to work and I never wanted to be there. So you have to do things you love. Like me, I love being in this learning environment. I'm not a super bookworm, but when I do a book sharing, I have to study a book and I love that. I love the idea of learning. Eto pa, we get really, really discouraged and think of ourselves small when we compare ourselves with others. And be kind to yourself. Number 5 is forgive yourself. Next page. Yeah. That's how you can become a badass. Okay. So let's go back about the concept of you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone. You're afraid to change the image that people think of you. But who cares what they think? Who cares? Jen pushes the idea that you truly have to stop worrying about what everybody thinks of you. So what? Living in fear that we might not meet other people's expectations only leaves you miserable and scared of doing the things that really fulfill you, doing the things you really love. Next page. Now, people's opinion of you, everybody's got an opinion. They have an opinion about clothes, they have an opinion about shoes, they have opinion about the weather. Like now we have a storm coming up and there's so many different opinions coming out. Is it going to hit Manila or not? But you know, people's opinion of you say more about them than it does of you. It's about them. If somebody has a negative opinion of you, think about this. That's a negative person, perhaps. And if that person is a generous, kind person, and their opinion of you is you're kind and generous and positive, then that's because they are wired to be that kind of a person. So their opinion reflects them, not you. Stay true to yourself. You cannot control what other people think or do. The only thing you say and do. My mentor, Mike Wilson, actually says that the number one frustration we have in our industry, our number one frustration and disappointment comes from us expecting other people to do things we want them to do, but we can't control them. You can't even control your child. If you have a child, you can't even control your spouse. How can you even control other people? You get this feeling of, you know, just a sigh of relief. Once you realize, I can't control people. People will do what they want to do. Let them have an opinion of me, and it doesn't bug me. You know, sigh of relief. Next page. Change your thinking. Positive thinking is key. Here we go again. Positive thinking. Our thoughts are the most powerful tools you've got. Through our thoughts, we create our reality. It is only after you change your thinking that things change, not the other way around. People say, well, I'm going to change the way I think after things change. So they're waiting for things to change. Then they're going to change. But what the author, excuse me, is saying is that you have to change first so that you can expect your future to change. You've got to make those changes. Next page. Have gratitude. So first thing in the morning, Lord, thank you for the following. Last thing at night, Lord, thank you. Big and small things that happen to you in the day, Lord, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is a state of being. You are a person of gratitude. You're always thanking and always looking at the positive side. Jen, the author, credits being awesome to being in a state of gratitude. So for her, being in a state of gratitude is being awesome. Not only does it make you feel good, it also strengthens your faith, and you naturally become a positive person when you're always grateful. You see, how can you not be positive when you're grateful, right? Next page. Forgive or fester. There's another chapter about that. Now, the author, Jen, identifies forgiveness as an act of looking after yourself. It's all about yourself. It's not all about the person you're supposed to forgive. Think about that. It's like what we heard. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. We are the victims of the unforgiveness. By allowing yourself to eliminate the negative feelings you may have had, it means you put yourself first and allow yourself to be happy. It's all about you. That's what she's saying is forgiveness. It's about putting your desire to feel good before your desire to feel right. Think about that. That's what she said, and that's really true. And that's important. to forgive and you don't fester if you want to be a badass. Okay. Now, next page is how to get over your own BS. Okay, so here we go. Another word we don't normally use. We all know what BS is. It's bullshit. How do you get over? Because admit it, we've got a lot of BS that's stopping us from moving forward and attaining our goals. Okay, next page. First is change your story. And it's a funny thing because I'm going to read from the book. She talks about love life. You have to change your story. All of us have a story. You've been playing that story for decades and decades in your mind. Oh, I'm not good because I failed my math exam. Oh, I'm not really going to succeed because I didn't end up top of the class. So here are some examples. Here is your, no, don't go to get rid of procrastination. We're still back in change your story. Here's the story. There aren't any good men out there. I don't have to take responsibility for why I'm not meeting any. In short, there are no men out there for me to meet. That's an old story. You can make a new story. The world is filled with awesome, loving men. And I am fully capable of and so excited to find me a good one. You see, it's the position of abundance, not scarcity. Okay, here's another old story. I get to feel victimized and right for staying single. And you can change that. Parang you're a victim, because you're single. And you can change that story into I am powerful and in control of my life. I choose to love and be loved. Okay, here's another old story. Her examples are funny. It's all about dating here and men and meeting men. I get to prove how lame by good one. The story is men are lame and there are no good men out there. And the proof is I have never been with a good one. That's the story. And you can change that story. You can change your mindset. And here's the new mindset. I love and trust men. And am so thrilled to be with an awesome guy who makes me giddy with happiness. So what are your stories? You've got to change your stories. What about your financial goals? You've got to change your stories. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Procrastination. Next page, get rid of procrastination. Now, procrastination is mañana, tomorrow, later, next time na lang. This is one of the most popular forms of self-sabotage. Because guess what? It's really easy to find excuses to procrastinate. I'm so busy, I'm tired, it's late, and hey, I procrastinate too. But I have learned from books also, not from this book, is that procrastination is the death of what could be. And why is it so easy to procrastinate? Because it's so easy to find excuses. Next, remember that done is better than perfect. Now, some of us are really what we call the melancholics. We're really perfectionists. Before we do something, we want to have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted. Perfect. But being a perfectionist actually delays you. And extreme case of that will really sabotage you. Done is better than perfect. There's a chapter on that. Next. Next page. What is this? Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't read that. Make a bet with someone mean. Okay. What she's saying here is that you want someone who is going to treat you with no mercy. A person who will make you feel humiliated even before your excuses come out. So make yourself accountable so that you don't procrastinate. You don't make excuses. That person is really going to be very blunt and painful. Next slide. Do you have somebody like that who can, and you can make a bet with that person? Okay. Own it and work on it. There is nothing worse than time wasted pretending to work, pretending or stressing out while you're trying to have fun. You see, you're trying to have fun, but you're stressing out at the same time. No work gets done and no fun is had. So own the work and do it now. Don't procrastinate. It's the worst of both worlds. You're trying to have fun, but actually you're stressed because you haven't done what you're supposed to do. And it gives you a feeling of guilt. Next page. Okay. So we're going to the area of fear. Now, this is a big 4-letter word. Because for many of us, yeah, it's just a word, fear, but it's like Bob Andrews, he's a leader in our industry, said that fear is like a 7-foot dragon, a green dragon with red eyes and fire coming out of its mouth. That's what fear is. Is your fear greater than your faith? Or is your faith greater than your fear? Faith here means belief. Belief in yourself, belief in the universe, belief in the creator. So what is going to win? Your belief or your fear? Okay, next. She talks about viewing fear from your rear view mirror. Yes, Alex, working in a job we are so used, we're so used to being criticized most often rather than recognized. Yeah, because our work community is a very negative wired. It's once you've been around our Syzygy community long enough, and know the principles, listen to our audios, attend our events. When you go back to the world, it feels, to the regular world, it kind of feels weird. The corporate world, for example, no offense, but they don't teach these things. Now, why look at your rear view mirror when handling fear? Think about a very radical thing you did in the past that literally gave you the shakes. You were like, fearful, big and scary. Think about something that happened in the past. Now look back at it today. It doesn't feel so scary. For example, you were going to speak on stage. It was like you were going to die. You know what they say? The number one fear is the fear of public speaking. It's even greater than the fear of dying. But I guess the greatest fear is the fear of dying when public speaking. So think of that, you're really fearful. But today, after your successful speech, does it feel scary? No. Think about you're going to ask for a raise. You're going to talk to your boss. Scary. Yeah. People would rather die than speak. Or let's say you're going to show the business plan, show a business plan to someone. Feels scary. But whatever the results, when you look back at it, it wasn't so scary after all. So that's how you handle fear, using the rear view mirror. Next, being in the moment. What does that mean? Live in the moment. Think of it right now, right now. Is there anything to be fearful about? Well, we're a little afraid of the typhoon that's supposed to come. But right now, we're all not afraid. We're all peaceful and listening and learning, and we're calm, we're at home, we're safe. We're not sick, we're not at risk for anything. So live in the moment. Okay. Next, cut off the stream of crap. Look at the picture, it's a toilet bowl. Be conscious of the information you absorb, dear friends. There's like negative everywhere. The blogs you read, the stories you hear, the people you hang out with, the news you hear, the Facebook or whatever social media you pick up. You see, it's crap. And especially the people you hang around with. If you hang around negative people, you'll be negative. You hang around smokers, you'll be smoker. You hang around people who are couch potatoes, you'll be a couch potato. Be careful who you hang out with. That's why we have this community, so we can hang out. You know, it doesn't change your person radically, but because we meet quite regularly, our community is positive, encouraging. We help people optimize their lives. So be careful who you hang out with. Don't think, and this is so true for me, the next, don't think of anything upsetting in bed at night. Our minds, parang sometimes we can't control our minds at night. It just turns into a gigantic magnifying glass that makes all our fears 100% bigger. And then you can't sleep because you're imagining so many things that are not happening. True? Well, for some of us, that turns to insomnia. Use your meditative powers to move your thoughts away. Think of breathing exercises. Read about it. In fact, in her book, Jen, she talks about books to read, like meditation, and ang dami niyang recommended books at the end of the book, actually. Next slide. Okay, we're coming towards the end. Money, your new best friend. Okay, now what is your idea of money? You know, she says, many people think that money is evil. She actually says that money is neutral. It's neutral. Next slide. Anonymous. In fact, here's I worked for a menial hire only to learn, dismayed, that any wage I ask of life would have willingly paid. Anonymous. Makes me think we accept so little. It's as if we limit ourselves to wanting so little. Pwede na attitude. I give so much and this is all I'm paid. That's okay. And then later on you learned that there's a whole big, huge universe of opportunity out there. Next page. So, first rule of wealth consciousness: come from a place of abundance, not lack. Your beliefs hold the key to your financial success. Now, she tells a funny story here. She was going to buy a car and she was going to buy a CRV. And for practical reasons, including her financial resources, this would have been the perfect car. But she couldn't get her mind out of the look and the feel of driving an Audi. Now her example is a car. And she knew it was out of her budget. She knew that, she just liked the fact that it could run so fast and that you could open the top and that she could her friends. She would be good with an Audi when it was just so practical to get a CRV. And she ended up buying the Audi. She talks about her mind process in the book. Why did she decide to buy something she could not afford? I'm not telling you to buy things you can't afford and make a big problem with your credit card. That's not what I'm saying. Or all your life savings, you just waste it. What she's saying is, you're coming from a thinking of abundance. Like this, I am not this small. I can be bigger. That's what she was. I'm much bigger than that. So, second rule on wealth consciousness is get clear on where you are. Get clear on what kind of life will make you happy. What version of success really applies to you? Meaning, is it freedom? Is it being a full-time mom? Is that what success means? Is it owning multiple homes? Is it traveling the world, all the wonders of the world? You've seen it. Is that your definition of success? Have a clear picture of what makes you happy. And sometimes it's not even material things. What version of success is it? Not comparing yourself with others. Then you figure out what kind of money will it take for you to achieve that perfect, happy life. Next. The third rule on wealth consciousness is get clear on where you want to be. Okay, so you have a picture. Now you want to set goals. Money is not inherently evil. Set clear financial goals. Take responsibility. Stop blaming external factors. It's my work. It's my I'm always interrupted, distracted because of this. It's my kids. It's my health. It's my, health, maybe that's a serious thing that will really stop you, but it's the government. It's my boss. So we get rid of those external factors and have the power. Use your affirmations to change your financial situation. Find the solution. Get mentoring. That's the next. Surround yourself with people who know more than you do. Read, study, hang out with them. Here we go again. The influence of being with people who are where you want to be. Find the perfect coach. Find a mentor or a seminar. Perfect. She's saying the right things. Find a coach. We have a coach in Syzygy. We have a mentor in Syzygy. We have the perfect seminar in Syzygy, which is we have an event in a few weeks in Cebu. So she's like Network 21 talking to us. Find a coach. Surround yourself with the people. Next. And then time for action. Be persistent and be consistent. Yung action that you do big time, one time, that doesn't work. The kind of action that works, just like in losing weight or diet, is to do things every day, consistently and persistently. And I call this time blocking every day. You set a time every day for your goals, and you do what it takes to make things happen by that particular time. There are no distractions. You focus on what you need to do to get your goals. Be open to opportunities. Isn't that what we always say? And resist being in your safe space, in your status quo, in your comfort zone. Resist it. Always, this is me. I'm saying this, always welcome an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and discover something new about yourself. That is so truly amazing and exciting to be able to do that. Now, finally, my last slide. Actually, the book is so big, it could take 3 parts or 4 parts, but you know, this is just like 30 minutes. Love yourself and you will have it all. So that's her final message. In fact, in every chapter, in every small story she says, the book is filled with this line, which means that it is truly important to love yourself. You are a badass. You're a tough one. You've got the toughness, the mental toughness. You've got what it takes to make your dreams come true. Love yourself and you will have it all. Thank you for thank you for watching tonight. And again, I apologize for being so stuck. I couldn't enter. Thank you. Nice sharing. And back to our MC